It's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and dale to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road.
The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid.
But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee. A fwit-dee-dee-dee-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Adventures waiting further down the road.
Let's go!
Crafting, crafting, crafting with Joshi and Cubby. What will we make today? What is the dice of the day? Crafting, creating, collaborating. What would an octopus say? Trivia questions, hooray! Creating, clickbaiting, can't hardly waiting for the crafting show. A crafting show with Cubby and Shoshi.
Look, I know we're not supposed to talk about things that are secret,
Yeah.
but I thought we were gonna have a certain kind of show, but the video clips are like it auto played. The intro played automatically.
Oh.
Yeah, and
That was
I
amazing.
need to find a way to undo that because
Because I think it's like set on a timer where it's like, 9:30, show's starting.
that's only if you set up a show for a go time, though.
Oh.
Like when I clicked to go live,
It started.
it started playing the intro, which is very cool.
Right. Except that's not what we want.
It's not what we want. Plus, I always liked waiting. Well, when we actually were on the rare occasions that we're ready to start on time.
Right.
I kind of always liked waiting like 30 seconds before the intro, just so because there's no way to get there at the start.
No.
Because you get the link, you gotta click. It's like a minute to get here, even if you're waiting for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, like, let's put it out. I know that's what the intro's for. I know that's why we have that great loop of credits and thanks.
But still, I think it's like respectful to just give it a little breathing room.
And if something ever happened before the credits, secretly, that's also kind of why.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that way, if you're super quick, you get maybe a little trip, but it's also, I don't think we've ever said something that important.
I mean, I think everything we say is very important and necessary.
I think everything we say is of no importance whatsoever.
Aw, and that's why we're the ultimate team.
Yeah, we balance each other out, and...
Look, we didn't plan this, everybody. This was not planned. We discovered it when I logged on. We're like, what? Stripey Day. Incredible.
That's true. Shoshi is very important and necessary. And then I'm also here.
No, everyone is important and necessary. Or, everyone's important. I don't know about necessary. Like, I don't think you need to be necessary to be important and cherished and loved.
Oh, nobody. Well, here's the thing. Nobody is necessary. Like, we've all been in positions where we've been in a job where we took on more than we should have. And it's very natural to be like, well, this place would fall apart without me. But it's not true. It doesn't matter how vital you are. You're replaceable. Like, that's just the nature of organizations and groups. Like,
well, yeah, but I'm talking about on like a spiritual level. Like, we're all just molecules from the earth, and the gravity that is generated by those molecules keeps everything aligned. So, like, your molecules are necessary, Cubby.
Yeah, but I'm not.
But your molecules are you.
Yeah, but like, if I'm gone, when I'm gone, there's not really an if about it. It's
gonna happen to all of us.
I don't know if you've noticed this about life. but if you haven't, this is I was going to say this is the worst way to find out, but this is maybe the best way.
What are you saying? What are you trying to say, Cubby?
Oh, just that death is inevitable and comes for all of us.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Even me?
Even you,
what?
The person hearing this.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So
well, that's nice.
Remember before you were born?
Nope.
Exactly. And that's what it's going to be like when you're gone.
Well, but nothing existed before I was born, right? I think, therefore, the world is. That's how it works, right?
Well, from my understanding, ultimately, thought as proof of existence is not what Descartes was going for at all. It was really an attempt to find what was innate knowledge as opposed to learned, like what could be considered a true innate understandings, the foundations for everything else.
Okay, well, whatever. I don't care about him. I'm talking about me. I think, therefore, the world is. I don't know who this Descartes fellow is.
Wait, actually, there was a comment I forgot to.
Good.
Shoshi is important and necessary.
Thank you.
Cubby is beautiful and amusing.
Oh.
I would rather be beautiful and amusing than important or necessary. That's
Victoria London Fog, you nailed us.
You really
nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Protect the not molecules. Also, so glad you're here today, Alice. I hope you are faring well in
yes,
drenched Florida.
You're in a danger zone. Please keep us updated. Actually, we have a lot of people who listen to this that are in the danger zone. Please keep us updated. Yes, car Shoshi today.
Oh, that's right. Also, because Evelyn's Louisiana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are also actually everyone just check in. I'm really glad. I'm gonna be super happy with everyone that shows up in the chat because it's just reassuring.
Yeah.
Did you hear, Shoshi? Mab just posted it on last night on the players group, but there's a new
fanfic.
There's a new fanfic
of it's not Ricardo Montalban.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it is,
but yes. Yes. And bananas, and apparently there's a succubus now. So I got through that description, and I need to take a little walk. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna savor that piece of fiction.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
And Victoria London Fog is telling us about it in the immediate next comment.
Okay, perfect. Yes, it is car Shoshi, car crafting Shoshi today. It should be my last one, because the season is coming to an end. But I'm going to attempt to do some actual car crafting today because I do also have the Corduroy, my sketch show this evening. And I also have this show. So I don't have a lot of time to do the props. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's bring stuff in the car. Let's see if I can do it. So I'm going to try and do some crafting in the car and we'll see how it works. But I also still have to do my hair and makeup for the show. So I'm going to do that first.
Which is also important crafting.
Also important crafting. Crafting my face. Also, I want to ask the chat, So I've been so busy, like so crazy, incredibly busy, and it has resulted in me making a really dumb mistake, and I missed a shift yesterday. I was supposed to teach a workshop yesterday, and I completely messed up. I thought it was next week, and I feel really bad. So, Chad, what's your advice on crafting an apology? If you have any advice for that. Because I feel terrible. It was just like a complete mess up on my part.
Having a very similar brain, I understand very much because I make mistakes like that a lot.
Yeah, and it feels terrible. And like I let down someone I really, really respect and care about and made their life a whole lot harder. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, so any advice on that would be great. Oh,
See, there's a couple more comments I want to bring up because don't tell me that, Evelyn Evermore. I'm so tired. I'm so tired all the time. And the one relief I have is that eventually I'll just be gone. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want there to be an afterlife. I just want to sleep, and by sleep I mean not exist anymore. But goddamn 10-foot Alice. That is such a well-crafted gag. Damn it. Damn, girl. Damn it.
Well done.
I seethe with jealousy over that. And I'm going to remember it and steal it at some point.
That's good. I like when something's so funny, it makes me angry. I'm like, oh, it's so funny.
Right? I couldn't wait to highlight that comment for you because I knew you were gonna have the same reaction.
Amazing.
Oh, update.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Alice went to the hotel just now with the kitty. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that on the Book of Faces.
Okay.
But
good.
Also glad to see it here.
But you're gonna and you're gonna get out soon.
I'm gonna wreck those students.
Because, like, Alice, if you're delaying your evacuation for this show, don't do that. Leave. Please leave.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm such a Futurama geek that I'm more likely to mention eagle beaks.
Ha! Which Corinthian lover? Grape please.
Ooh, we have leather crafting. Ooh, mask. I love masks.
Ooh, amazing. Yes, cool. I mean, your leather stuff is looking incredible, Evelyn Evermore. Like, really, really impressive. The dyeing and the fabric, like, awesome. Really awesome.
Want to see something cool?
Yes.
Okay. So you know, like, kilt pins?
Oh, yeah. The ultimate safety pin.
Well, I don't know if you know about, like, laundry pins.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
I'm a guy, so. Okay, wait. So let me dig up. So this is actually like, there's different sizes. We all know that.
Sure. Okay.
But I just found little baby.
Oh, little tiny little pins. Oh, I love that. I like them better than safety pins. I really like that, the look of it, you know?
Yeah. But it's usually just overkill.
Yeah.
But this is the smallest wire gauge I've ever seen them in, and they're just so cute.
Yeah, they're so cute. Good call. Good find, Cubby. Good find.
Well, it was AliExpress, so it was probably terrible for the world.
Yeah, but
sorry,
like,
world. But they're
what? Come on, like, there's like, I just heard a thing on the radio where they're like, oh yeah, so there's a kind of plastic that's everywhere that's like pretty harmful. What can you do about it? Do your best to avoid it. I'm like, that's what?
yeah, except
Like,
it's in the rainwater now.
yeah. So like,
Look,
so
rainwater is no longer safe.
cool. So like, companies are just allowed to make harmful products and create jobs that end up being necessary for people's survival, and based on products that cause us harm, and we just have to have like, we just have to avoid it. That's the world we want to live in.
Man,
That's the best world we can figure out. What? Come on.
I feel like Teflon being like, every factory that's ever worked with it is a Superfund site is like something I should have learned earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, non-stick is great, but
I don't like it.
But it's not. I mean, you can also just kind of let your frying pan heat up first.
Yeah. I actually don't like it. I prefer, well, I love a cast iron. And if you take care of them and you use them regularly, and like, they're basically non-stick, and as someone who has trouble with iron, they actually increase your iron absorption. Like, when you cook them in the iron pans, they absorb some of the iron, and it can increase your iron levels up to 16%. Like,
see,
which is great.
That makes not, well, it kind of makes non-stick a little scarier, right? Because like, if you're getting that much iron from the pan, like,
how much Teflon are you getting?
And I realize the whole point is that it's coated very thoroughly, but also I'm ADHD, so I've ruined some Teflon.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely use metal forks on that shit. That's the other reason why I love cast iron, is because they're like indestructible.
Oh, I won't use metal on it, but I will turn on the wrong burner and heat up an empty saucepan for an hour.
Right.
Actually, the one nice thing is that my most recent partner was the same way, so we kind of took turns ruining frying pans by forgetting them.
It's nice. It's honestly like, you'd think it would be like not good to also have a partner with ADHD, but it's actually very comforting.
It's kind of crucial because there's stuff that just doesn't make sense to people with working brains.
Yeah. And like, yeah, it means a lot of necessary forgiveness, and also like looking out for each other in a way that you need to be looked out for, that other people might not understand. Yeah. Definitely turned off a lot of burners in my time, and been saved by my partner by turning off burners for me.
I'm just saying, it is a comfort, when you live with somebody who is also, or that sounds conceited. You live with somebody who is incredibly intelligent and will still do very stupid things because of the nature of their brain construction.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't feel so bad because, like, if someone as smart as her.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Makes you feel a little better about this world we live in.
I mean, we can, but, like, I don't have that much to say on it. And I have a topic prepared.
I do have a favorite burner, though. It's true.
Yeah, but that just makes sense because, like, you have a favorite place to stand. You know, there's going to be a more natural place to stand in relation, and it's basically ergonomics.
What's nice is I'm left-handed and my partner's right-handed, so we can like cook next to each other.
Oh, that's
and
so.
Like, and our arms, because we just like stand at the right burners, and then our arms don't hit each other. So I always take the left burner. He always takes the right burner, and then it works out.
See, I will say for me, front right if it's an active cooking like a frying pan, but if it's a boiling situation, right back burner. It's a little bit smaller. And so if I'm using the little pot to make rice, perfection.
Yeah. I mean, I'm front left but that's the left-handedness.
Yeah. Ergonomics, somebody clever said.
Just a little while ago.
So Victoria London Fog has some great thoughts on apologies.
Oh, okay, great.
That I want to highlight for you.
In-person apology about the inconvenience if possible, or sincere email or call would be great straight if possible. Worship again, or ask what else you could do. Yeah, that's really good. That's what I bought. I bought some cookies and I wrote a note on it. Because I'm gonna see them today, but they're probably gonna be very busy. I don't know if I'm gonna, and I don't want to like, oh, slow down your busy stuff to listen to my apology. You know what I mean? Like so if I don't get a chance to see them, I wanted a note as well. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, cookies are also a very good call. And yeah, back burners for the simmer. Like if you're stewing, if you're making a big pot of gravy, you know, that's gonna be cooking all day. You want that front burner, you know, you might need to make something else, you know. I mean, a good gravy takes like 6 to 8 hours, sometimes 10 or 12.
You got it. My partner made an 8-hour sauce not that long ago, and it was real good.
Every once in a while, my brother makes our Nana's sauce, and
yeah, real good.
So there is something I want to talk about today because yesterday I finally made it out to Spirit Halloween.
Ooh, yes, Spirit Halloween. Let's talk about it.
I love Spirit Halloween. This is like my annual pilgrimage, and like I don't know how to feel about it right now.
Yeah. Basically,
so
okay. Did my picture go away? Sorry.
Your picture went away, so thank you for saying something because I wasn't sure if it was a connection or just a phone.
Yeah, it's a phone thing. I'm here. My picture will be back expeditiously.
No problem. So I'm gonna assume everyone here makes it to Spirit Halloween every year or so. Kind of seems like that kind of a crowd. Plus, you know, I mean, you gotta go on November 1st and see what's half price. But like, so I assume you've all noticed that there is very much a trend. I know the old stereotype for Spirit Halloween is the avoiding copyright kind of like approximation costume. But starting like, I want to say 5 to 10 years ago, they started really, really focusing on official branding. It kind of, I almost feel like it started with Hocus Pocus, which was actually really smart. Because they jumped on a lot of cult status stuff, but it is just crammed with officially licensed merchandise now. And it's not, for the most part, it's not like it's made any better, but it's more expensive because you're paying for the rights.
Right.
And it was very overwhelming. And I do gotta say, last few years it's been kind of underwhelming at Spirit Halloween, but they put a lot of money in. And the store, I went to 2 stores because there are 2 in my area. They were overflowing with stuff, which was great. And there's a lot of new stuff, and not just officially merchandised. Also like masks, their brand of masks, stuff that like I maybe kind of sort of recognize from like AliExpress and dropship sites, but like repackaged to be Spirit branded, which is kind of the what you expect as their mainstay, but just so much official stuff. It was just I found it really depressing because it was so overwhelmingly consumerist, and it's like, I mean, I guess I now know that I'm not a big fan of capitalistic over consumerism, even when it's stuff I like.
Yeah.
In a way, it feels worse because it's like, I kind of liked it when it was weirdo, when it was a weirdo thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how other people feel about it. Oh, and then I wanted to talk about, maybe like, this is like it was before I left, Philadelphia. So I guess like 8 years ago now, maybe 10. This is when I was like pretty heavy on the road. So I was really only in Philly for like maybe 3 to 4 months out of the year, and the rest of the time I was on the road. So I found myself in Philly in September and October, and I was like, "Ooh, I need a temp job." And I was like, "You know what? I'll work at a Spirit Halloween. Like, that sounds like fun." It's not fun. It's not a great job at all. The manager was super weird and creepy and stressed out. All the employees were super stressed out. It paid minimum wage, like actual minimum wage, like $7.25 an hour. Like not even like $10 an hour, like $7.25 an hour. And I was like, oh yeah, like I can work register, whatever. And he's like, I don't want you to work register. I want you to put this costume on and walk around the store and get surveys from people. And I was like, okay.
I love this manager voice.
That's like literally. And then he's like, yeah, you gotta. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, they'll you get the sales up. And that was when it was like really changing over to all corporate stuff, and all of the costumes were just like the prepackaged, like cheap, like stuff, and all the like. And I was like, I made it 3 weeks, and I was like, I quit, can't do it.
Honestly, 3 weeks, that's impressive. That is a testament to your stamina. So as somebody who semi-professionally, I don't know, professionally dresses in costumes. There's a thing that sometimes irritates me where whenever anyone sees you in a costume, they will just say the first example of that comes to mind without thinking about it at all. And it's very irritating when it's just really wrong. Like, if I go around as a pirate wearing, like, a big pirate coat, I am guaranteed to get Captain Morgan references all the time.
Right.
But here's the thing. Shoshi, what is very distinctive about Captain Morgan? Color-wise.
I don't really know. I don't really drink rum. I know he's got his foot up. That's really the only thing I remember.
Thank you, Victoria London Fog. Red.
Oh, okay.
He is dressed in red. Red hat, red coat, white shirt, you know, for contrast. And my big pirate coat, the old one that's a little bit falling apart at this point, is blue. And so part of me finds it very irritating just because it's the wrong color. Think of another pirate, my friend. Think of any other, or just say pirate. Like, I don't mind when people are just like, yar, because it's great. I get to go yar back, and it's a whole conversation. I'll usually end it with like, oh, best conversation I've had today. And it really, in winter, I'm often a lion at the zoo, professionally, which is, if you ever get a chance not to be a human, my friends, it's such a relief. But people will come up.
You do have a mighty roar.
Am I a lion? I've never thought of myself as a lion. People will come up and they'll say like, oh, it's the Cowardly Lion. And it's like,
what?
Look, I get that is, that is a cultural touchstone.
Yeah. That is a lion that you have heard of.
We are in the oldest zoo in the country.
Yeah.
A lion at a zoo is context. It already has context. I'm like, come on. Well, although I do have fun whenever anyone calls me Mufasa.
Oh.
I turn to whoever they're with and I'm like, oh, don't tell him how it ends.
Oh, that's good.
But if they just say Lion King, it's easy because I'm like, oh yes, I am king of the beasts. You recognize my royal air. So like, yeah, if you dress as a tiger, you're gonna get a lot of Tigger and a lot of Hobbs. You're gonna get a lot of very stream of consciousness tiger references. It is just how people react. I love that tea set.
Oh yeah, so this is there's a Batman and Alfred sketch. So of course Alfred needs to have a tea set, and then I'm gonna do a little bat symbol on it. Because he's gotta have his bat tea.
Yes. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat. How I wonder
where you're at.
Up above the world so high, like a tea tray in the sky.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat.
You know what? I really have not gotten a lot of Aslans. I don't think I've ever gotten an Aslan. An Aslan, I'll be honest, would probably take me by surprise.
Yeah. It's good you mentioned it because now you're gonna get it a bunch the next time.
Oh yeah, now that we've like added that to the cultural unconscious.
Yeah.
It's more accessible.
Well, and I actually think there's a new Narnia movie coming out soon. So you might actually get it.
Oof. Sorry, rebooting properties is such a...
Yeah.
They didn't even finish the last one.
Yeah.
I want a Silver Chair movie, dang it.
I kind of do too.
Well, Mugwump is so good.
I know, one of my favorite characters ever. Yeah. Great character.
Evelyn Evermore, everyone currently on this show and in the chat would set Fae traps. If they could. If I could set Fae traps, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I do have a bit, because when people are like, where's your hook hand or where's your peg leg?
Oh.
My stock reaction is, do you have any idea what an accomplishment it is to keep all of your limbs in this profession?
Ah. You're like, it just proves how good I am as a pirate.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
I'm the very definition of the better part of valor. No, I wouldn't say that. Nobody would get that. No, I would say that. I love doing jokes nobody ever gets.
Yeah. But if you say them with the right cadence, people know they're a joke and they laugh anyway.
Mostly. But you also know my favorite joke to tell kids.
The counting one?
No, that's the counting one is a whole days of activity.
Yeah.
Actually, I was on the topic of jokes nobody gets. I was tempted to do the short version of the pirate's favorite letter.
I think you should.
Do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
R.
Letters of marque.
Ha.
It's just, it makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, I have like a bunch of...
But not everyone does.
Very few do. So I save it as the bonus answer to that joke after I've gone through. Oh, dang it. People are saying the things. I might have to do the long version.
Real quick, one of my favorite jokes that nobody gets situations was many years ago, I worked for the Bristol Renaissance Fair. This is back when I was in college. I was like 19. And they had a whole running gag about, so I don't know how many people know this, but saltpeter is an ingredient necessary for gunpowder.
Mm-hmm.
It is also an
aphrodisiac.
Yes, like the opposite of an aphrodisiac. It like gets rid of sexual urges and abilities.
They used to put it into army rations.
Right. And that was the running gag. Is they're like, saltpeter, huh, for gunpowder. Ah. But like nobody knows that. So like they had this whole like opening bit when you like first came in that basically like explained it to the audience. But if you weren't there for the opening show, there were like all these like saltpeter jokes and everyone's like, what is happening? Great.
I would laugh so hard.
So great. So funny.
Okay.
You gonna do the full version?
I'm gonna do the full version, and then I'll do my favorite joke to tell kids, because I know I've told you before. I've probably said it on the show before, but I find it so delightful.
Yeah, it bears repeating.
And like the best part of the joke is the explanation, and that one I have to explain as I'm going along. So it's an extra good joke. But Shoshi, do you happen to know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
R.
Oh, well, some people say R. And others know that a pirate does truly love the C. Which,
Oh, yes.
here's the thing. Back when that was lesser known, and I used it as gag, sometimes people wouldn't get it. It would take them a little bit too long and it would stop being funny. So I learned to do this as I say the C. And it clicks always. But, there are a lot of letters that pirates have a fondness. They do... most pirates are missing an eye, and they do say that distance makes the heart grow fonder. They're always going on about it too. I this and I that. And there's, of course, X. It marks the spot. There's a certain amount of fondness for that, certainly. But ultimately, I think you'll find that a pirate's favorite letter will most often be P.
P?
Because without the letter P, a pirate is just irate. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I was wrong about all of them. It's letters of mark. Letters of mark. And that's great, because P gets a good reaction, and then nobody laughs at letters of mark.
Because no one gets it. Incredible. I love that. But then you get to explain what a letter of mark is for the children.
You are, and I get to explain that the difference between privateer and pirate is really just that they made an alignment with one country. It's the same thieving and horrible action. A privateer is no different.
Yeah. You just have the approval of the monarch. They're like, yeah, you can go mess up those other people over there under my name. Sure.
Oh, we've got a little riddle in the chat. And to that I say, Evelyn Evermore, yes.
What is 4 letters? Yes, correct.
But my favorite joke to tell children, and this is great. I love this start because I say to the kid, because this joke is really for the adults around the kid, but nobody knows that. I go, I know a joke, but you're not going to get it.
And then the kids are like, yes, we will.
Yeah, have you ever told a kid they're not going to get a joke?
They're like, F you. I'm going to get this joke so hard.
Yeah, it's like you just flipped a switch in their brain and they look at you with this intensity. They are ready to get this joke.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say. They are going to laugh so hard because they are going to prove that they can get this joke. And then I say, knock, knock.
Who's there?
2.
To who?
Actually, I think you'll find it's to whom. Which makes so little sense to them that they don't get it, and they have been bracing themselves to laugh at anything, but then you say something that cannot be construed as a punchline to them. They are baffled and puzzled, and they're adults who've seen this whole exchange crack up. Because they did not expect a good knock-knock joke. And it is delightful seeing that confusion and frustration on a child's face.
Amazing. Yeah, no one expects... A good knock-knock joke is a genuine surprise.
And such a delight.
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Kumquat.
Kumquat who?
Kumquat would you have said if I had said banana?
Ha! What?
That's
amazing.
Yeah. That's my postmodern knock knock joke.
I love
Aren't you glad I told it?
I am.
Okay. Victorian London fog. I don't want to cross the line. And you did say you can only tell your partner. But I really want to know what this knock-knock joke is. Who's there?
Who's there?
It's gonna take
a second, but that's okay. It's I love that. That is a really funny joke.
That reminds me of your audience warm-up knock-knock jokes.
Oh, my series of jokes. Like knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow. Who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Shoot, what's the second animal? It's been a long time.
Oh, wait.
No, that's the last one.
No. The last one.
I know, but there's a different one.
Oh, I've only heard it with the 3.
Oh. I always thought there was another one. Anyway, knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting starfish.
Interrupting starfish who?
And then you just put your hand on their face. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting. Is it jellyfish? Jeez, it's been oh, right, sloth. Interrupting sloth.
Interrupting sloth who?
Ha, ha, ha.
I love
The
that.
end. Round of applause for my lovely volunteer. Oh my god, it's been a long time since I've done that bit. Wowie zowie.
Yeah, I realize I could have just said the animals instead of trying to be clever, because like
No, I appreciated it. I was like, you're gonna let me do this bit. I appreciate it.
Well, I was like, the joke doesn't work if I already know what animal is at the door. Like,
Right, exactly.
I don't knock knock. Oh, that's my friend the interrupting starfish. Let me just go let him in. That's like when somebody says knock knock and you go, come on in, the door's open.
Yeah.
Actually, you want to hear my favorite knock knock joke?
Yes, please.
You start.
What? That's a good one to play with kids.
It's great because, well, kids are amazing because they'll be totally baffled and irritated at you, and then they'll just like tell you a knock knock joke.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, okay, boom, and then just go into it.
It's so great when you tell a kid that and they don't get it. They just tell you a knock knock joke.
Yeah.
And
then you get a knock knock joke.
That's so great. Although, what's really amazing, and I've probably mentioned this on the show before, but this is very important advice, and so it bears repeating. If you ever get a chance to hang out with a little kid they're at speech, they can speak well, but they don't really get jokes yet. Now, they love jokes because they love
to laugh.
They love laughter, and they love rhythms, and they love a situation where there's roles set.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, they thrive. So if you can teach them a knock knock joke, any knock knock joke, they will be so enthralled with the fact that they say knock knock and you have to say who's there.
Yeah, they love it.
They love it. They will just say knock knock because they love saying knock knock and they love hearing the response. And then they will just stream of consciousness fill in the blanks of the joke. And it doesn't matter because they don't really get jokes yet. That is so cool.
I did it in the car. Can I tell you, I have two of my favorite jokes ever that were invented by children who were both under the age of 3 and made up some jokes. So, what did the dog say to the tree?
I don't know. What did the dog say?
Chicken! And here's the other one. What's the difference between an orange?
What's the difference between an orange?
Get it? Difference? Orange?
So I, one Christmas, stumbled across the discovery of little kids and knock knock jokes with my cousin's kids, and I still remember a couple of them. Knock knock.
Oh, yes. Who's there?
The dog.
The dog who?
The dog.
The dog who?
The dog ate the deer.
Oh! Perfect. No notes.
No notes at all. It's just, I've never been more delighted than when I heard that. I don't think that's
Incredible.
The other one was knock knock.
Who's there?
The dog.
The dog who?
The dog driving the spaceship.
What? Dogs can't drive spaceships. What? All right. It is time for me to go. I gotta go be an Amazon. It's the last one. It's the last Midsummer.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the last Midsummer.
Midsummer Night's Dream. It's the last. And then tomorrow is the last Winter's Tale. And then this Sunday is my last show.
Autumn something. I'm guessing it's right? Either autumn or spring themed.
Summer, winter, yeah. Is Tartuffe my last show at Theatricum for this season?
That doesn't fit the pattern at all. Can we call it Tartuffe in the fall?
Although they do specifically mention in the script that it is springtime. So, and the last show is about the election, so that takes place in the fall. So yeah, we got all the seasons. There you go.
Yeah.
Nailed it, Theatricum.
You just acted a year in one summer. I did. Good for me. All right, I gotta go. I love you all. Next week, I'll be back for the whole time. Thank you, Victoria Linden Fogg. Cubby, you won't be there because you have a performance. I won't actually know until the day before, but I'm hoping that I can pull a Shoshi and I can join on my phone just before I go in to do my gig.
Yeah. All right. Here's hoping, and if you don't, no big deal.
Well, fingers crossed, though.
Fingers crossed.
Because the week after, I definitely can't make it. That's all you.
Okay, fantastic. All right, I'll see you all later. I love you all. Bye.
Bye, Shoshi. All right. Oh, there was a dog who went into space? Wow, what happened when it came back? Did it get a good treat and it was well loved and it had a happy life? I'd sure like that. Jay Rinker, absolutely. And there is, so I'm still on Twitter. I've actually found that it is a survivable experience if you block a lot of people. Plus, there was this time when the block lists being so long on the site was actually causing like damage to Twitter. So it was like, well, I might as well stick around and just block everyone who ticks me off in the least. But there is a Twitter account called Kids Write Jokes, which is the person who runs it used to run like a website that was children oriented, and there was a way they could submit jokes, and it used to be called Kids Write Bad Jokes, but they're not bad. They're amazing. And it is like, there's a lot that's just like poop, fart is the punchline, because that's hilarious. But then there's like wonderful, like one of my favorites they actually have published books of these jokes. And one of my favorite from the Kids Write Jokes book is, what do you call a tiger with glasses? Scientist tiger. Which is just so delightful and joyful. And yeah. So if anyone is still navigating the murky sewage waters of Twitter, follow Kids Write Jokes, because it is a slice of joy. The fact that they and the dog rating account are still there are like some of the big things that make that place, I can't say good, but better than it might otherwise be. Oh, cool. That is actually a really good answer. Oh, it meant the... Okay, I don't believe you, but that's also a really good answer. Well, they didn't figure out how to make anything return until the humans went up into space, is the unsaid part. Laika's still up there. Well, maybe not, but I mean, the way orbits work and orbit decay and such means that ultimately nothing we put into orbit will stay there forever. I just realized I have an empty tissue box like right behind me. And what's really fun is I posted on Instagram the other day, and I took the pictures from this chair, and I didn't realize that this was very well framed. I should have done this a while ago. That's practically taking care of it. Oh, look, a third empty tissue box. I mean, this is a shoe. There's nothing wrong with having a shoe in a weird place. This is a shoe that the buckle fell off and I still need to fix. So I'll put it there so I don't forget about it. I mean, I will forget about it. Forget about what? I was just starting to talk about something. Oh, well, I've completely forgotten about it. But if it's in a place where I'll see it again, I'll see it again and think of it. That's probable. I feel like early balloon technology, like the balloons just kind of gradually fell. Like the impact wasn't too bad from an experimental balloon ride. Wait. You know, it's funny, because a group of friends of Shoshi, they used to go to this brunch place, and they had an item on the menu, which was like a truffle toast. Is truffle oil and little baguette. Very tasty, delicious. Everyone who tried it blew them away. And they used to they called it truffle bombs, where they would just order random truffle for other. There's like, oh, and by the way, the truffle toast for that table over there, just for fun. And then they would like get to see their reactions as they tried this for the first time. Interesting. That is an interesting tradition. I mean, I love a good, like, socially accepted bribery situation. I gotta say, you gotta be a pitchfork will do a lot of damage to a hot air balloon, but a torch will just make it go up quicker. I mean, you take a torch to a hot air balloon, you're just helping it. A good balloonist will just roll with it. I suppose. I mean, a balloonist doesn't have a lot of control. We all realize that. They can basically decide if they're going up higher or lower. That's it. That's it. So with Shoshi not here, I think it calls for a little trivia action. Although I have another question I want to ask everyone, because I think this is a good group to ask. When I went to Spirit Halloween, on the outside, they have like 3 little, in the big pictures, the big windows of whatever building they've taken over, they have like 3 pictures of kids in costumes to kind of show what sorts of stuff they had. And I was very surprised by one of them. I wanted to know if you all were familiar with the Amazing Digital Circus. It's pretty popular right now. It definitely seems up the aesthetic of anyone who'd be into this channel in general. But they had a kid in a Pomni costume, the main character. But like, that's not a kid's show, right? Like, it's not. It's certainly not dirty, but there is a lot of existential dread and horror in it. Like, just there's a lot of just being at the mercy of uncaring powers in it. Yeah. If it was like a hell of a boss or a has-been hotel get up, that would be like a kid who's dressed up, a little kid dressed up in a has-been hotel costume is probably learning more about the world than they should at their age. But it still does not seem like a kid's show. I mean, the Pomni is like in a silly jester suit, and she's got like matching colored pupils, which is a little bit creepy, but it is a fun look. But like, that is wrong. The other thing is I didn't see any Amazing Digital Circus things in the store. I looked around, I looked around the whole store just in general, but I didn't notice like any of that. And I'm going to be honest, I usually skip the kids section of the Spirit Halloween because I know nothing's going to fit. But I got to say that was super, super licensed merchandisey. There was Descendants and Miraculous Ladybug and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like everything was branded. It was I think that really drove home just how much in that aesthetic, how far down that path they'd gone. But I did want to check, one, has anyone seen it? Because I watched the pilot on YouTube like months or a year ago. I can't remember, real long time. And then it's on Netflix now, which I didn't realize there were more episodes. There are like 3 episodes now as of last weekend. There might be a new episode this week. I don't know what kind of schedule it's on, if any, but it's quite good. It's quite enjoyable. And like, you know, for example, there's at one of the episodes is one of the NPCs in an adventure they're on realizes that it doesn't exist and it's not real, and it just gets to sit with that thought for a while. Like that's the vibe of the show. I mean, The Exorcist, I've seen that 1,000 times now, and it gets funnier every single time. Sorry, couldn't help it. No, I know, like, it's just like, and then I was walking around and I was like, well, maybe it's aimed at the kids, because the teens, because there was like Monster High and Descendants, and I'm like, I feel like a high school kid would dig it, because it's all about the futility of existence and everything. But like, I later checked online, and that is a child's costume of Pomni. They also have adult sized, but yeah. Oh, I don't know Carolyn Tuesday. I haven't heard of that. Should I have? I'll warn you, I'm really bad about actually watching shows. I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. And then I'll be honest, part of it is that there's a lot of things that have changed in the production system that, frankly, makes shows a lot worse than they used to be. So, like, you can watch a season and there's of a show that should have been good, and it's not, because they cheaped out on the writing staff, and because they only greenlit, like, they didn't greenlit enough episodes, so it's got that weird thing where nothing really happens at all, because it's got to end on a cliffhanger, because the companies keep telling the creators that viewing numbers matter, even though they don't, and everything's going to get canceled after 1 or 2 seasons because the way they do the contracts is they say, hey, we're going to greenlight your series, and we can't really afford much, because I know we're the biggest streamer in the world, but we don't have any money from it, which is actually true. Streaming is, maybe they haven't actually figured out how to make it profitable, which is a whole nother thing to think about and despair over, because like, that is impacting it. Like, that and the drive to funnel all of the money out of the economy into venture capital. But they tell the creators that, okay, we're going to pay you very little for the first 2 seasons, but if you can make it to a 3rd season, there's a whole cascade of bonuses that kick in. So what happens is nothing gets a third season. They just doesn't matter how much people like it, doesn't matter how much people watch it. It's cheaper to just not do a third season, because they can get a whole new series started for a lot less than they can for the third season. And it's so depressed. Like the fact that Netflix just doesn't stand behind anything they produce means that I just can't really trust them. Like, I know Netflix, Amazon, Apple, I know they are bad actors. So I know I can't trust the company. So I don't watch the show, because what's the point? What's the point? Because at best, it's going to be not quite as good a series as it should have been. And at worst, it's going to be great and you're going to love it. And it's just going to end on a cliffhanger. Like, the entertainment executives have kind of killed my enthusiasm for entertainment. I guess that counts as disruption. So, bravo, you've disrupted entertainment. It's no longer entertaining. The only thing it had to do. Music anime. Oh, that does sound good. Oh, I'm flinching because I already know it's a Netflix original anime. Oh, they do tell a full story. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, it's before they got the formula down, but I always feel, I kind of realize that Netflix has always been a bad actor, technically, but it did get markedly worse when they realized how to really efficiently be a bad actor. I am very sorry for that Victoria London fog, because I also feel it very deeply in my soul, and it's an ache. But this year, I will say, so I know I have mentioned that sometimes I play a pirate, but where I really pirate is entertainment medias. Yo ho ho. I feel like I'm on a real 70s kick, like 70s movie, real film stock, like right where film stock got cheap enough that there was kind of that proliferation of medium budget movies, man. Medium budget movies are so good. They're so good. They're competent and they're fun, and they just don't make medium budget movies anymore. They just don't. It's blockbusters or cheap as possible. Those are the two things. So it's been real nice just kind of jumping back to the 70s. I've been downloading a lot of 70s movies. Unfortunately, one of them was The Mutation, starring Donald Pleasance and Tom Baker, and that movie was not good. But Tom Baker and Donald Pleasance were both really good, because Donald Pleasance is so bored in that movie, but it's a character choice. He's like, oh, this dude doesn't care about anything, and it's great. He's just like, it opens with him like teaching a class, and he's just bored and talking about mutations. Is just, and it's perfect. It is so perfect. And then Tom Baker's overacting like gangbusters. So when you have somebody who is underacting well and somebody who's overacting well together, oh, that is, as an actor, that is my jam. Okay, is this a pitch you're able to share? Because I recently thought of a pitch, but deep down, it feels like it's sellable. And I don't know what to do about that because I don't have a lot of contacts. I'm trying to get Shoshi in on this because, you know, she's in Hollywood. But I am certain it is an amazing pitch, and I would very much love to hear it. Yeah, I understand. It's because also, I don't know, I've talked a little bit about doing, I did the clown class back in August and September, and there's something about that work which reminds you that ideas are fun, but they're a lot less important than we really, I don't know if we want to think or we're conditioned to think. Like a good idea, it's fun, it's good, but it's never the most important thing. The idea is never the most important thing. And, you know, the work I was doing, it was movement based. It was very non-naturalistic and very pure thing. And it doesn't matter how clever the idea is, if it doesn't resonate in character and in the group, it doesn't get delivered, you know? And at one point, Maestro is like, sometimes you see a really great performance that suddenly falls flat. And almost always, it's because there was a very, very good idea. And he said, like, you see it and you're like, ah, there is the brilliant idea. So, like, but it's still, a good idea is so delightful in and of itself. So, like, I love it, but it's also, Victoria London Frog, as a writer, I'm sure all of you in your respective arts and creativities recognize this, because, like, what an idea can do is it can inspire so well. You can get so excited about something, and that's what's crucial, is that excitement is actually what's important. Like, and if that excitement moves beyond that idea, you must let it, and you've got to let go. And oh, it's so hard sometimes. It really is. It's so human and so hard. I'm sorry. I can't even think of a specific instance right now. But, like, in my soul, there's so many times that moment of having to let go of a great idea, having to let it go free, having to go past it into what the thing has become. And I think that killed enough time, because I'm going to check out this bitch. Okay, we open on a young woman throwing pebbles at another woman's window, trying to convince her to run away with her. Half of the first season tells how they ended up in that situation. The other half tells what happened afterwards, told simultaneously. Ooh. I would like to watch that. That sounds really good. Oh, I love it. Okay, since it's a jukebox musical, that means you already have a couple of the sequences in mind, right? Like, would you mind giving us like a little bit of taste of what you already have in mind? Oh, now that sounds very interesting. Is it ears? Because ears are very distinct, and people don't realize just how distinct ears are. Because you don't really think about ears, do you? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That's my idea for a biometric login design. You just, because you already hold your phone up to your ear. Just kidding, nobody does that anymore. That would... Could you imagine how frustrating it would be to line up your ear for a biometric to, like... Because you really would just need a good photo of it. I mean, I do realize that extrapolation technologies have gotten considerably better through the years, so that would be less of a problem than it was at one point. But also, I can't imagine it would go incredibly smoothly. And, friends, look who is joining us. Wait. Oh. So, Malix is here. And with this, we get a silent view of a very beautiful and impressive crafting setup. And with this, we get the voice of the man. How are you doing, Malix?
Good. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, it does this whole thing where I try to sign in and it wants me to copy paste a link into my browser, and then once I do that, it wants me to open the actual app. So I think the link chain is opening two instances of the program, which is pointless and silly. But I'm here.
Yep. Yes. Sorry, I was looking at the settings. I feel like there is... At one point, Kitty Chaos turned off her camera and she was present. We could hear her, but her box went away. But I don't know how to achieve that, and that is not nearly enough information for you to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I think I probably have to have a way to log in through the app rather than that link. And I just don't know exactly how to accomplish that.
Look, technology is... Yeah, fill in that blank, everyone.
Well, the moon is harsh mistress, right? Okay.
Okay, well, the reason I asked Victoria London Fog is just because when you hear jukebox musical, my first thought, I assume it's because you've already picked a few. If you haven't, I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but if you had thought of that, I would want to hear it. Sorry, Malix, we were talking about pitches and ideas, and Victorian London I can't speak, but they mentioned a series idea that he had, which I'm just going to reread the things. We open on a young woman throwing pebbles at another woman's window, trying to convince her to run away with her. Half of the first season tells how they ended up in this situation. The other half tells what happened after, told simultaneously. And it's a musical. I know I love movie musicals.
Oh, absolutely.
Mostly because they fundamentally don't work.
Yeah. But every now and again, you get something brilliant.
No, but it doesn't work though. But it's beyond that. Like, man, like even competent and popular ones, like you watch West Side Story and it's creepy.
So I was raised at almost literally at the Athenaeum Theater in Chicago. So I am a musical theater baby, which may not be obvious from what I do these days, but my entire world was, and my family was all about the stage musicals. So that stuff is absolutely my world. And you're right. It's all a little sideways, and it has to be. It's its own reality and its own reality. Did you see Schmigadoon?
The first season. I haven't watched the second season yet. But yeah, that was fun.
I'm pissed off that it got canceled because I read some of the stuff they had planned and what they were going to lampoon, and I think that series did a great job of saying just that, which is, you know, we may love it, but there are definite problems with the format, and to have a musical, you kind of have to bend over backwards for this thing that kind of is trying to update opera in a strange way.
Well, it's just it's such a theatrical, like, it makes perfect sense in the moment, because when you feel too much, you must sing. But it doesn't pair with the, like, assumed naturalism that's the default in movies. So, like, West Side Story, I think, is a great example, because those dance scenes are beautiful, but seeing those dance scenes in a starkly empty New York street is weird.
So have you seen the SNL bit where Norm Macdonald is with Street Gang like that, and they start dancing? He's like, were you guys practicing that? It's absolutely wonderful.
Oh, he's the response to that?
Yes.
That's pretty perfect. But
Jimmy, or whoever, he's the guy that comes back in West Side Story, and his reaction to them all suddenly dancing is just complete befuddlement. Anyone that's watching, so are we actually live now? Did I just miss the time entirely?
What was that?
Are we live or are we pre-show right now?
Oh, we're live. We're in the last half hour of the show.
Oh, for God's sake! I've been around since 11:30.
I tried to tell you, I just didn't see that you had messaged. Because I've been in this window, and I don't multitask well. Just
so you know, for the foreseeable future, plan to attend. And if I'm not here, ask yourself, where is Malix? So what I'm doing is, for anybody that was watched previous, I'm working on this kind of shit pile in the forest as part of a build. And like I mentioned before, I've got this neat little industrial dumpster, but it should open close. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be adding a lip to the inside to give it a way to open and close. Anyway.
Cool. Ooh, I don't know either of those songs, because I've only heard like the two songs by Imagine Dragons, Radioactive and maybe also Radioactive. But that I'm into that, and that also makes me realize that I am behind. There's some Romeo and Juliet musicals that I'm behind on. I know And Juliet is on Broadway doing fantastic. I know very little about it, but there's also a either New Zealand or Australian movie called Romeo and Juliet, A Trailer Park Romance. So
kind of love that.
Yeah, no, and it's a musical. I'm like, tell me nothing else, because I just want to experience it in real time.
I went back and rewatched the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet.
It's
And
beautiful.
but I'm reminded again how creepy the story is. Because I know times are different, but she's a little girl. Certainly by any sort of modern parlance. And the whole, like, I'm in love in an afternoon in a way that I'll burn down eternity. And everyone it's like contextualizing it in modern terms means you're more likely to take in that homeboy is a kid lusting after an even younger kid. I don't know, it creeps me out.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that he's a player.
Nah.
He falls in love every week. But Juliet is such an incredibly well-written character. She's
yeah, but they all should be like in 7th grade. So that just for me is like, yeah.
I mean, blame the originator.
Oh, I am. But when you're doing, if you're going to revise anyway, and there's guns now, make her 19. Why not? Right?
I mean, they did. Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio are pretty much the same age.
Oh yeah. There's always that, like, we've been using 30-year-olds in high school for the past. We finally are getting better with that in the movies. Yeah, people like Tom Holland, like a Spider-Man that looks like he might have actually been in high school.
Yeah, he's still like 30 though.
Not when he started.
Yeah, but he still looks 16. Like,
yeah,
I'm not convinced he wasn't 30 when they started because he hasn't aged at all.
So he might be a vampire.
I didn't say that. I mean, that's much longer. I'm just saying he could be 50. And I wouldn't know it.
Well, I love this shit right here. This Alina's tacky glue is great, but my bottle seems to have dried to tacky glue at the bottom of the... It's not good. Big jars are cheaper, but boy, if you have a problem, your entire supply ends up like at the bottom of the jar, and you spend all day trying to coax it out of the bottle,
Yeah, with the big bottles, it does work a lot better if you just use it to refill the little bottles.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, well, I got some out with a stick.
Yeah. Well, if we ever meet in person, Victoria London Fog, we clearly have a lot to talk about. If at this point, if Leo found a fountain of youth, it's
he's used the power up. Yeah.
He's still a good looking guy, but I would say he looks his age. I don't know why he keeps growing facial hair, because I don't think it looks good on him. I don't think he can grow a good beard. I don't like the beard he can grow, personally. It's too scraggly.
Okay, so I did think for this in terms of things like 3D printing or using plastic, and you honestly sometimes, because I'm going to paint it black anyway, and you're not going to see it in full view, some zero cost corrugated does your job for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you just need a rectangle, there's no need to make a rectangle.
Yeah, just a rectangle that has a little height to it, so that it's a lip to catch on the lip of the trash. Yeah,
cardboard's a great call then, because you can like shove it in, get a little resistance, get a good friction fit.
Well, and that just needed to not fall off, right? I just don't want to stack it. So all this has to do is, there you go, sit on top, and it does. And all that took was extra powerful white glue and cardboard. Just paint that black so that when I take it off, when I'm using the terrain, and set it aside, your eye won't go to it, and that's fine. All right.
Groovy. That also seems like a good possibility for the old standby of V6000.
Yeah. So there's a like I often quote Adam Savage because the man knows his shit, and he's big on be careful how much you rely on basically adhesives and the fact of the grippiness of them. Like whenever possible, use a mechanical join, and when you are going to use adhesives, the reason stuff like Gorilla Glue works so much better is it's the way it adheres. The problem with the E6000 is it's not terrible, but it's a little like using super glue, and that's great, except if it doesn't. How do I put this? This is if you're not here for the crafting part of this show, I am just talking a bunch of nonsense. The grab over the surface is kind of brittle in my experience. So, okay, cool. So I'm going to put all this together, do a test fit, and then start actually mounting my pieces.
Oh, whoa, not on camera.
It's extra. You got to join the Patreon.
I don't think I want to do that with you, sir.
I'm gonna get an OnlyFans starting where I begin naked, and you put money in, I put clothes on.
You know, I believe Joshua said it best when he said the only winning move is not to play.
Well, that movie holds up, by the way.
I had to look up Dante Basco, Victoria London Fog. To my shame, I did not immediately recognize the actor name of Rufio. But what's great is it came with some current pictures of him, and that man has aged very well. Hot dang. That's a good piece of advice. The stronger the build is without the glue, the longer it lasts. Which makes sense. The glue is just there to help.
Perfect.
Unless it's paper mache. That's like pure. But that's a whole different thing. Love me some paper mache. That smell, though. I mean, it's no contact cement, but it's definitely not pleasant.
Not wrong.
But that's a personal thing. Honestly, it's got such a weird tinge to it. I wouldn't be surprised if there are people out there that love the smell of E6000.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, more power to you. It just...
I know I'm just old enough, and I don't know if you were, Cubby. But
orange scented?
Mimeograph machines?
Oh, no.
So I was like at the very tail of when the most underfunded schools still had a few because they couldn't afford the better alternatives. But boy,
I think you're gonna have to fess up, Malix. How old are you?
Older than 50, younger than 100. I'm 55.
Well, I was guessing it was definitely closer to 50 than 100, but
yeah. Well, thank you.
Just because, like, my brother is like 4 years older than me, and I don't think he dealt with mimeographs yet. But there is a gag about it in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yep, where they're all smelling the tests. I was exactly the kid that was the AV nerd that had to go in and make the copies, and that weird blue toner absolutely got you. It felt like you were getting buzzed, but you weren't. It just gave you a headache.
I do love that, the look of it. Because I have been able to see a few, that weird blue.
Yeah. Well, it makes, if you're a D&D player, it reminds you of those early blue tone maps. So they certainly do for me anyway. So
I did learn hand drafting in college, and we did make blue lines. So that also had a wonderful bluish quality to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, we shared, I think we talked about this before. We shared that. I went to Lane Tech High School, which was a smart kid magnet school, and I learned drafting in high school.
Nice. It's very relaxing.
I agree. And early on, a lot of the game industry, we used like Zipatone, and we used the old style of proofing that you did by hand and all that kind of crap, like blue lines. A lot of that is gone, and even though I'm nostalgic, I remember what a pain and how time consuming it was. So digital is better, but boy, I miss. You ever work with Zipatone?
Nope.
So
Zip discs, though.
Sheets of kind of almost like stickers or transfers with tones. So if you
and you pencil rubbed them.
Yeah. So if you didn't want to go in and do like pointillism by hand or whatever, you would just grab a sheet of Zipatone and rub them what you want. So what I'm doing now is, because I'm converting a piece of terrain that was for something else, I need a somewhat better surface to go in. So I'm taking off some of my original terrain. For example, there were all kinds of tufts here, and I'm putting trash, and that was not going to go over, so I have to clean my surface.
Okay. I'm familiar with Zipatones. It took me a minute to recognize it, but from reading the John Byrne run of She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Because he uses it a lot and then makes a lot of references to using it a lot.
Yep.
As She-Hulk was the first fourth wall breaking Marvel character.
I love She-Hulk. I even like the series.
What do you mean even? That was really good. I mean,
I'm a big fan. Talia Maslany is the shit.
Oh, yeah. Incredible casting. Honestly, the only thing that ticked me off about that series is great cast, great setup. They should have just made it a little bit more like an Ally McBeal kind of, like they, famously WandaVision, the creators had Dick Van Dyke to lunch to talk about making that sitcom because they were referencing it so heavily. And I'm like, you couldn't do that for the Boston Legal dude? I'm blanking on his name, but he did Ally McBeal, Boston Legal, all of those law firm dramedies. Have a lunch with him. Honestly, give him a producing credit. Have him in the writer's room. Like,
I think they did a good job, though.
They did. I just really wish they had leaned more into that, because it was a lot more interesting than the superhero stuff. And part of that was just superhero fatigue.
So I think that's people use that term a lot. And I think it's superhero fatigue, in my view, is something experienced by people that weren't genre fans. So there was this interesting golden moment where mainstream audiences were into superhero movies. So I don't think it really applies much to genre fans. Like, I will go and see every genre movie, so superhero, horror, sci-fi, pretty much, unless it looks like obvious garbage, I'm going to go see it. So I'm not going to get fatigued, right?
So as a genre fan with superhero fatigue, I'll tell you that what it means to me exactly is that they're all the freaking same movie. Like, I'm burned out just because there's not much creativity in those. They're like, well, here's the one way to make a superhero movie, and that's how they do it. So there's no point in seeing them anymore.
I think most of the creativity we've seen has been on the TV side, on the stream side, because they have experimented. Like Werewolf by Night was genre experimentation. There's been some really interesting stuff.
Werewolf by Night was a lot of fun, but like, it was a little bit of a blip in the current Marvel slog.
Let's see.
But also, I mean, what's irritating is that Disney as a company is very capricious in what they will actually what they'll actually back. Because, like, the budget differences between WandaVision and She-Hulk were pretty apparent.
And the lid, success.
Woohoo! But also, I'm going to take that Werewolf by Night comment as an agreement with what I was saying, which is that they should have leaned in a little harder to the second genre. The fact that it was a hybrid between legal, plus it was all based off of the 2000s run of She-Hulk, which was very much a legal dramedy / superhero thing. Yeah. It played with those genres so delightfully. I loved that run. I loved that run so much. It was a great time.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I mean, also stellar, because like even supporting cast, so many wonderful performers popping up in that show.
Yep. Yeah. And then, boy, I think we all wanted the party girl that ends up with Wonger. I just wanted to show with the two of them.
Which party girl?
Well, there was only really one.
Well, Titania?
No. She was fashionista. No. There was what was her name? Shows up about 2/3 through the series in the courtroom stuff with the Abomination, and ends up roommate with Wong.
Oh, Madison. With the two Y's, but you won't know where.
Yeah. Loved her, wanted more of her.
Yes, absolutely. No, another absolute delightful. I mean, I just kind of felt like almost there. Like you could kind of see if they just a little bit, it would have leveled up in a great way.
Yeah,
and
fair.
I hope it gets a second season, and I hope they go that way. And also, who would have ever known that Tatiana Mansley could play two different characters who looked similar so well?
Yeah, they must have just guessed.
It's crazy. They have got to find a way to exploit that talent.
Well, fortunately, Disney's very good at exploiting.
It's not, though. I mean, there's a push, but they kind of, they're not clever about it anymore. Just look at the Star Cruiser experience.
You don't call that exploitation? I do. And having known if it worked for the mouse, they did not have kind things to say RE exploitation.
Right, but Disney used to know how to milk it. They used to be able to exploit something like that. Like Disney in the 80s with an immersive science fiction cruise thing, they could have made that last a decade easily.
Yeah. Okay.
2 years? Amateur hour.
Second pile of garbage.
Oh, don't be like that. It looks good.
Yeah, it's interesting that looking good means it kind of has to look like shit. All right.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I don't know if it's that bad yet, but things were better. I don't know.
What are you responding to?
Oh, the comments.
I'm not seeing them, so.
I love a good genre movie. The problem is Disney is not making good genre movies.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Makes you miss the Eisner years. And I mean, who can resist a crack against Eisner?
I had a brief period where I was motivated to go back and watch a bunch of the 50s, 60s, 70s, like That Darn Cat, Computer with Tennis Shoes, like all of that shit.
Yeah, I once watched Sandy Duncan win a bar bet with a magical cat collar from outer space.
Yep.
And the villain was an evil duplicate of Burl Ives. I called him Earl Bives, and nobody laughed.
I'd laugh. That's good. Oh, man.
But yeah, that was, I mean, at least that was weird.
So ironically, my half-dried tacky glue has become kind of a excellent putty, which is really good for mounting in this uneven terrain. So I accidentally, it turns out to be very good for this use case. Who'd have thunk it?
You know what? I'll be honest. I have not seen The Black Hole.
Oh my god, I love The Black Hole.
I know that Disney is never going to wish they were making more movies like The Black Hole. They weren't.
That was their first R-rated movie, I think. And I remember as a kid, I was obsessed with Maximilian, who was the robot Satan.
Mm.
And I drew him and I made little miniatures of him. I was obsessed.
I'm shocked.
Well, it's interesting going back and finding the building blocks of your personality of an adult. You know, it's like, oh, that's where that came from. Okay.
Or was that foundational? Or was it just always there? And that was an early example.
Nature versus nurture. I certainly watched a lot of movies as a kid. I was never particularly into horror movies. But I did like special effects makeup. A toy I had very early was a thing called Hugo, Man of 1,000 Faces. That was a little ventriloquist dummy looking dude that looked like it was molded off of Billy Barty. And it came with a kit so you could put on prosthetics on the little guy. And I loved that thing.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I would have flipped over that as a kid. I loved dressing up. I would have loved dolls if I'd had a sister or something, because I had a little army doll. I loved dressing him up and stuff. But yeah, I was also obsessed with special effects as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a full Frankenstein makeup one Halloween, and it was a hot mess, but I did it.
Oh, like layered cotton and latex, like the old school.
Pre Rick Baker back of Monstermania magazine, that kind of crap.
Yep.
All right, so
did you do that to yourself?
I did it to myself in the mirror.
That's impressive.
It's what the magazine said that like the early people did was you would practice and get good by doing yourself. And my brother wasn't into me f***ing him up by putting all this makeup on him.
No, he didn't like that.
No. We became pretty close friends, but as adults, as kids, we had a pretty traditional big brother, little brother relationship. So no, he was not into it.
That's fair. Victoria London Fog, I will keep that in mind. I'll be honest, I did just download like a whole bunch of I have so many gigabytes of movies to watch. It's a wonderful feeling, but little daunting at times. Oh wait. I very much want to hear this story because this sounds great. This sounds like a tell it in person kind of thing and not type it over the chat, though. But I am so happy for you and a little bit of jealous that you got to freak out John Delancey.
Okay. So this part of the build is getting close to done. I've got a little detailing left to make these little guys look a little better, but they are almost there.
Okay, I was wrong. That actually did translate to a brief anecdote very well. Fantastic. Also, I like it that you're leaving it up to us to figure out what your cosplay was with gouged out eyes. I'm going to assume you were Sam Neill in Hellraiser in space. That was a fun movie. I've heard it called the most faithful movie adaptation of Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, that it actually was a Warhammer 40K script, apparently. There's a couple of interviews out there with the screenwriter, and they didn't get the rights. They filed off the serial numbers. So the reason the warp drive is a gate to hell is, yeah, that's Warhammer.
I love that they had to do a close approximation without the rights of Warhammer 40K, which is just steals from every genre.
Yeah,
like that's perfect. That's chef's kiss.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it was between that and Oedipus, and I thought the Sam Neill was funnier. I was once Oedipus for Halloween. I made a mask that's in pain with blacked out eyes and just blood running down. That was fun. Oh, for karaoke I went to, I painted a mom tattoo on the arm just to put a bow on it. And we have made it to 2:30. I gotta say, your trash is coming along very nicely.
Thank you. This sucker should probably be ready, this whole part of the board, in maybe a week, because I've got to build. There's 4 sections in the middle, so we'll get bigger and grander as we go along.
Ooh, nice. That's great timing. That means for next week, it's going to be just that much more awesome.
This is all the run up to Gary Con.
You picked the right time to start then.
Yeah, there's a lot in it, and some of it has electronics, so I knew this was going to take weeks.
Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us. It's time to say goodbye to all our company. I wondered if you would continue the Mickey Mouse theme song.
I don't remember it, and it's just past. So it was at 1 o'clock here, so my cap's not fully kicked in. And they started spelling the word right, like.
Oh yeah, M-I-C. See you real soon. K-E-Y. Why?
Because we like you.
M-O-U-S-E. Actually, the best part of the theme song is when Donald Duck just shows up and they're saying Mickey Mouse and he's like, Donald Duck!
Duck! Yeah. He's
Beautiful.
little fucker. Love that guy.
Absolutely. See you all next. Well, if anyone upcoming, I will be at the In Between. I don't know if I'm a bartender or a guest, but if you tune in tomorrow night, you'll see me. And of course, keep tuning in. Oh, the schedule. Keep tuning in for all of these delightful and fun shows. We've got Gothic Horror Gaming tonight at 9. Tomorrow, Flash Phantasmagoria with Handler Z at noon. And then 8 p.m. is the show of the week, The In Between. The bar that travels between dimensions, picking up patrons along the way. So I'll be around for that. And of course, next week, I'm hoping to be here briefly, but then I'm going to have to go. Yeah. Bye. Oh, wait. I had the clip lined up. There we go.
Crafting with Joshi and Cubby. What will we make today? What is the dice of the day? Crafting, creating, collaborating. What would an octopus say? Trivia questions, hooray! Creating, clickbaiting, can't hardly waiting for the crafting show. A crafting show with Cubby and Show.